Okay, Facebook and YouTube. This is gonna be a quick little video from me. Not necessarily a plant video, not necessarily a aquatic video. It's just sort of a just I guess like some thoughts and reflections that I'm currently having at the moment. Um, the title of it is "Once You've Done Your Best, Let It Rest." Because one size does not fit all. And I got the motivation to do this video from a number of different, I guess for a number of different reasons. And I think the biggest reason is, not so much with plants, but in the aquatic hobby, there's like, it can almost turn into like a peer pressure type of thing, because people have a set way of doing things. They figure like with certain fish, it's always a set size that you supposedly have to have, or once you get to a certain range, you have to use this filter instead of that filter. And I'm just using this as a basic example, but I'm going to actually turn it to something bigger. But just to use an example that relates to what I have going on here at my house. When I first got into the hobby, a lot of people would tell me that, because I grow a Nubia standard plant, it's a form of an aquatic plant, and a lot of people would tell me, from the beginning, that you're not supposed to bury the rhizomes underneath the surface. And the rhizome is basically the stem of it. It's like, it's real little. And you would always hear people say you can't do that because if you do, they're going to rot and the plant will die. Newsflash. Anyone that I have ever owned, I don't know about this one and this one and this one, but anyone that I have ever owned, I actually do bury the rhizome. And they're still living to this day. I've had them in fast flowing tanks. I've had them in bowls that stand still. The point being that I guess what I'm trying to make is that one size truly does not fit all. But I'm going to actually go even deeper with this, because I'm going to kind of extend it to the social media age that we are currently living in. And I think that if people are not careful, you can develop a tendency to lose your own identity, because you'll be so concerned with getting a like on Facebook or on Instagram, or you want people to comment on YouTube, that you become something that you're not, for the sake of someone clicking, oh, I like what you did, what you're saying or what you're doing. And the crazy thing is, at least for me, when I post the videos that I do, whether it's plants or the fish, or just what I'm doing now, like in the inspirational video, I'm sharing something because it comes from my heart, so to speak. But I'm not sharing it for people to necessarily get behind it and say, oh, I like it too, I like it too, I like it too. Because that's nothing but jumping on a bandwagon or succumbing to peer pressure. And that's one thing I've never been good at, thank God. And that's why, like, growing up, I was never really necessarily popular. And it's not a hurtful thing, because, like I say, when you've done your best, let it rest. So if you know inside your heart that, according to what you gave your best, you said your best, you presented yourself the best, whatever it may be, then that's the end of it. Because that's like me now. Once again, you see I'm smiling. It's not a big deal, but it is slightly annoying. I'm dealing with, I guess, an internet troll, and I wish they would just, I don't know. I ain't gonna say nothing negative because I'm not an evil person. But, it's funny to see a person, like, I guess have whatever they feel they have against you, or they're such a negative person, their own self, they want to stop you from being a positive person. It's kind of crazy when you see that, because it's like, I hope you don't think I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, because that will never happen. I was always, like I said, that kid that would be on the playground that played by himself for the most part, and I didn't have a problem with it. It was cool. and it kept me out of a lot of trouble. There was a lot of scenarios that had I been running around with everyone and trying to fit the mold, my life now today might not be what it is. It could be a lot worse. Um, so that, it's very important, in life, and that's why I say I take little things and I turn it into something bigger, or I draw inspiration from it to become better. So it's like now that I'm I guess, somewhat the victim of an internet bully, so to speak. I'm like, I'm taking that to inspire someone else. Like, listen, in all honesty, everyone does not have to like what you do. Like, they don't. They don't have to like it as long as you're doing the best you know. I'm gonna give another example. I was just on I was watching the Janet Jackson concert because she was always like my favorite singer growing up, and I was watching. It was her Rock with You tour concert, which was in 2008. Now that particular tour, for anyone who kind of was aware of it or followed her career, it was a logistical nightmare. Like, I think she only did like 16 dates out of 30 or 40. Every time you looked around, there were cancellations. It was a mess. So I was watching the show on YouTube, and when I watch things on YouTube, I scroll through the comment box, and I'm watching different people saying they like it. It was this, it was that. But one person told the truth, and what they said the set list was amazing. The show actually was very good, but they said when they looked out to the audience, it was empty, or like half of the seats were not filled up. And they said it was hard for me to see it as a fan, and I'm sure it had to be hard for Janet to see it as a performer. And I attended that particular tour. Matter of fact, I went almost, I think, the second to last show. I went to the one in Detroit, Michigan, and it was empty. It was a huge coliseum, and maybe there were like 7 or 8,000 out of potentially 14 or 15,000 seats. So pretty much it did kind of look empty till the lights went off. So a person had said in the comment box, they had made that observation. And I'm saying this as a Janet fan. So apparently there was another fan that had seen that comment, and they felt some type of way about it. So instead of just being constructive, they're like, oh, you're dumb, and the show was excellent, blah, blah, blah. And the show actually was excellent. But this is what I'm getting at when I say one size does not fit all. So just because you're a fan, you're supposed to be a liar. Some of the coliseums were pretty much empty. Every time you turned around, the shows were being canceled. So by the time they got rescheduled, people had called off of work 2-3 times, and you're not gonna keep doing that. So by the time the show actually went, it wasn't what it should have been. So if somebody makes that observation, why do they gotta be dumb because of that? But this is once again what I'm talking about with this whole social media thing, which is basically the mindset of one size fits all, and since everyone else says it and does it, that's what I'm supposed to do. Not this kid. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and the truth is the truth. So if there's an observation that I got or have, whether it's popular or not, whether people agree with it or not, guess what? I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna say it. So, I don't want to get too deep in it because it's an inspirational message. I don't want to turn it into no negative thing and who we're trying to shut down and who we're trying to silence. I don't even want to make it about that because that's not who I am, and that's not what this channel is. So the message I just want to leave with all of you out there, whether it's a Facebook post, whether it's an Instagram post, whether it's a YouTube video, but even bigger than that, whether it's your own life, whether it's you dealing with kids on the playground, if it's you dealing with a situation on the job, when you've given your best, let it rest. Because one size does not fit all, and what works for one does not necessarily work for the other. And just because it didn't work for you doesn't mean, baby doll, that it ain't gonna work for me. And life still goes on whether you do like it or whether you don't like it. And it goes for me as well. So that's my little message for today. Stay true to you. And never let anybody stop your shine. All right, have a good night.